There is a silent force at work in your life right now. It speaks before you speak. It decides before you decide. It votes on every opportunity before your hands ever reach for it. That force is the mind. And whether it builds empires or digs graves depends entirely on how it is commanded. Not managed, not negotiated with, commanded. Every fortune ever built began as a thought held with stubborn faith. Every life quietly wasted began the same way, through thoughts left undisciplined, borrowed from fear, inherited from limitation, accepted without examination. The mind is not neutral. It is either a master architect or a ruthless saboteur. It does not pause. It does not wait for permission. It is always creating, riches or ruin. Most people never realize this because they are hypnotized by appearances. They blame the economy, the past, the system, the timing, the wrong people, the wrong parents, the wrong country. But history has already rendered its verdict. Edison failed thousands of times in full public view before he mastered light. Lincoln lost elections, businesses, and years of his life to obscurity before he shaped a nation. Ford was told he was uneducated and unfit to lead industry, yet he bent steel and time itself to his vision. None of them waited for conditions to approve their belief. They believed first, and conditions were forced to follow. This is the first law of the mind. It does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you consistently believe. Desire without belief is fantasy. Belief without action is hallucination. But belief welded to disciplined action becomes inevitability. Your mind listens to repetition. It bows to emotion. It obeys clarity. Whatever you dwell upon with feeling, whatever you repeat internally without resistance, becomes instruction. And the mind, loyal servant that it is, executes without questioning the order. Tell it you are defeated long enough, and it will arrange evidence. Tell it you are destined to rise, and it will begin clearing paths you cannot yet see. Most people are not failing because they lack talent. They are failing because they allow their minds to run on default settings, programs written by doubt, fear, and the low expectations of others. They wake up and consume noise before they establish direction. They accept moods as truth. They let circumstances dictate identity. This is not living. This is mental slavery. The disciplined individual understands something the masses never do. You must take possession of your own mind before you can take possession of anything else. Wealth does not start in the wallet. It starts in the ability to hold a single idea without contradiction, to decide and then remain decided. Look closely at the turning points of history, and you will see the same pattern repeated endlessly. A man or woman becomes obsessed, not casually interested, not politely hopeful, but consumed by a vision. That vision becomes a burning desire. That desire organizes thought. Thought dictates habit. Habit hardens into character, and character bends circumstance. This is not mysticism. This is mechanics. The mind thrives on definiteness. Vague goals produce vague results. A scattered mind produces scattered outcomes. But when the mind is given a clear target, it becomes ruthless in its efficiency. It filters information differently. It notices opportunities others walk past. It connects people, timing, and ideas into a chain reaction that looks like luck to the untrained observer. Andrew Carnegie did not stumble into steel. He selected it. He visualized dominance in an industry before the industry itself fully existed. Walt Disney was bankrupt, mocked, and rejected. Yet he carried entire worlds in his imagination long before they appeared on screen. The mind does not wait for proof. Proof follows the mind. But understand this clearly. The same power that builds also destroys. A mind saturated with fear will manufacture reasons to hesitate. A mind addicted to comfort will sabotage momentum the moment resistance appears. A mind trained to expect failure will find it with surgical precision. This is how ruin is created, quietly, incrementally, through tolerated thoughts that go unchallenged. Every excuse you accept becomes a brick in a prison you help construct. Every doubt you rehearse becomes a command. The mind does not argue. It complies. There comes a moment, often painful, often lonely, when an individual realizes that no external rescue is coming. That moment is not despair. It is liberation. Because the instant you accept full responsibility for your inner world, you inherit full authority over your outer one. The moment you stop waiting to be chosen, you begin choosing yourself. The mind must be fed deliberately. Ideas of strength, images of victory, stories of those who endured longer than you feel capable of enduring. Gratitude sharpens perception. Purpose hardens resolve. Discipline gives belief a spine. Without discipline, even the strongest vision collapses under the weight of inconsistency. The world does not reward intentions. It rewards alignment. When thought, emotion, and action move in the same direction, resistance loses its power. Fatigue becomes temporary. Failure becomes instructional. Time becomes an ally instead of an enemy. This is the quiet truth few are willing to face. Your current results are not accidents. They are mirrors. They reflect patterns of thinking repeated so often, they now feel like personality. But personality is not destiny. It is habit, and habit can be rebuilt. The mind that creates riches is trained to expect growth, to seek mastery, to convert setbacks into strategy. The mind that creates ruin drifts, reacts, and negotiates with its own weakness. The difference is not intelligence, it is command. And once command is established, once the inner voice changes from pleading to directing, something irreversible begins to happen. The noise fades, the path narrows, the will strengthens, and the individual who once felt at the mercy of life begins to feel something unfamiliar and dangerous to the old world. Momentum. Momentum is not loud at first. It does not announce itself. It arrives quietly, almost invisibly, in the form of inner alignment. You wake up with a heavier sense of intention. Your steps feel deliberate. Your thoughts stop scattering. And for the first time, you feel life responding instead of resisting. This is not coincidence. This is the mind coming under command. When the mind is disciplined, emotion follows direction instead of impulse. Fear still appears, but it no longer holds the microphone. Doubt still knocks, but it is not invited inside. The disciplined mind understands that feelings are not orders. They are signals, and signals can be interpreted without being obeyed. Most people confuse confidence with bravado. True confidence is quieter. It is built in isolation, through promises kept to oneself when no one is watching. It is forged in early mornings, late nights, and moments where quitting would be easier than continuing. Every time you do what you said you would do, the mind records evidence. Evidence builds belief. Belief hardens into certainty. And certainty is magnetic. This is why discipline is not punishment. It is identity construction. It is the daily act of voting for the person you are becoming. The mind learns through action more than affirmation. Speak 1,000 positive words, but fail to act, and the mind will not believe you. Act once with conviction, and the mind begins to reorganize itself around that proof. Clarity sharpens power. A vague purpose leaks energy. But when your reason is clear, when you know why you endure, why you sacrifice, why you persist, the mind stops bargaining. Pain becomes part of the process, not a reason to escape it. Every great achiever carried a reason heavier than their resistance. That reason anchored them when storms came. Napoleon Hill observed this pattern again and again. Those who achieved lasting success were driven by a definiteness of purpose so strong it bordered on obsession. Not chaotic obsession, but focused fire. A single direction pursued relentlessly. The mind cannot serve two masters, divided between safety and greatness, and it will choose safety every time. But commit fully to growth, and it will find ways forward, even when logic says retreat. The mind that creates riches understands delay without surrender. It respects time without fearing it. It studies failure without identifying with it. It asks different questions. Not, why is this happening to me? But how is this shaping me? Not, what if I lose? But what must I become to win? Gratitude plays a critical role here, not as sentiment, but as calibration. Gratitude trains the mind to see abundance instead of scarcity. It sharpens awareness. It keeps ambition from rotting into entitlement. A grateful mind expands faster because it is not clogged with resentment. It receives more because it recognizes more. Adaptability is the mind's shield. Rigidity breaks under pressure. The world shifts constantly. Markets change, industries collapse, paths disappear. The untrained mind panics. The trained mind adjusts. It understands that identity is not tied to a single method, but to a mission. When one door closes, it builds another. Learning becomes a lifelong discipline, not a phase. The mind that creates riches stays curious, alert, humble enough to update itself. Pride freezes growth. Ego blinds perception. But the student mind stays sharp. It studies people, systems, patterns. It listens more than it speaks. It refines strategy instead of repeating mistakes louder. Resilience is not toughness for show. It is quiet endurance. It is the ability to absorb impact without losing direction. Every meaningful path includes rejection, loss, and long stretches without validation. The resilient mind does not interpret these as signs to stop. It interprets them as tests of seriousness. And this is where most turn back, not because the dream is impossible, but because the identity required feels unfamiliar. Success demands separation, new standards, new habits, new circles. The mind must release old comfort stories to make room for a larger reality. That shedding feels like loss at first, but it is not loss. It is alignment. The mind that creates ruin clings to the familiar even when it is painful. The mind that creates riches lets go, even when it is uncomfortable. One chooses familiarity over growth. The other chooses growth over approval. Every day, you are training your mind, whether you intend to or not, through what you tolerate, through what you repeat, through what you avoid. The mind never stops learning. The only question is, what are you teaching it? Because eventually, inevitably, it will build exactly what it has been instructed to build.